Hi, I'm Richie, otherwise known as Dirty Secretz, and today I want to go over a brand new course that I've just done for Sonic Academy, Making Main Room House. Now this video today is mainly just an overview. I'm going to go over and kind of show you all the different elements of this track, but if you want to deep dive into this and learn how I did every single part, then head over to sonicacademy.com for the full course. So this course is all about that big room piano house kind of sound, kind of in the style of David Penn, ATFC, Earth and Days, and a whole load of other artists that are making quality house music at the moment. So this track you can see right in front of you is the track that we created on the course, completely from scratch, using mainly just Ableton standard plugins and a couple of free third-party plugins, just to do a few other little bits like that. So let's start off with the drums, because that's the first thing I start off on the course, is actually building up the drums. So we've got a kind of big thuddy kind of kick in here. So a big proper housey kind of kick that's been EQ'd, saturated, drum bus on there just to give it a punch and utility. And then we've got the tops. The tops are kind of all the other bits of the drums. So we've got the clap in there, the hat, the toms and the shaker. Now this is all done with MIDI, so we got the clap in here that's being played. In fact, we've got two claps that have been layered up and then EQ'd. We're also using the Ozone Imager to give it a little bit of width as well, which is quite a nice little free plugin. Then we've also got the hat in there, so this is the standard upbeat hat, and we got some toms. I kind of go through in the actual course about how to use a bongo kit that is included with Ableton to kind of create your own kind of bongo kind of loop. So if you don't want to reach for those kind of bongo loops out of a sample pack, then you can easily use something like the Latin Fusion kit within Ableton and then a few different notes. Again, in the course, I go over how to kind of put these all together. And then also the shaker. So the shaker, I've done exactly the same with the bongo. I've actually created a shaker pattern using the shaker kit within Ableton. So again, if you're not quite sure, if you don't want to use a loop and you want to do it from scratch, then there are some great kits within Ableton to kind of do that stuff with. Again, I've kind of on the course I give you a few different hints about how to kind of make it more human-like, how to make it more organic. Yeah, it's a nice little skill to have, and especially it stops you from always using loops, and it also makes it quite custom as well. So those are the drums. So the drums there are solid. Next up, let's look at the bass. So the bass, I go through how to create your bass line, and using actually a standard Ableton instrument, an electric bass straight from the Ableton packs. I go through about how to kind of program a bass line. So quite a standard kind of bass line, a very driving bass line. So taking the standard bass patch within Ableton, adding some overdrive, saturation, EQ, a bit of compression there to sidechain it. And then we've got this kind of driving bass that goes with everything else. And then the part that really makes it a house track, of course, the piano, and that just works so nicely. Again, the piano is a standard Ableton patch. It's a grand piano patch, and I go through about how to make it sound a little bit more kind of retro using the Isotope Vinyl free plugin. This is an amazing little free plugin, and then using some other kind of EQ, saturation and a bit of compression on there just to kind of bring everything out, and together it just sounds, it really drives the track forward. And then we've also got a bit of guitar in there. I really wanted to bring a kind of more organic element, and also not to necessarily just reach into a sample pack to just find a guitar loop. And in fact, there's some great guitar patches within Ableton, and I picked this one out called Guitar Plucker, and this just allowed us to put a couple of little guitar plucks in there. So all of those layers just kind of start making it feel really, really housey. Then next up, I kind of went into how to, well, I found some vocals that went really well with that beat that I've already got. Obviously, when you're kind of making this kind of main room house kind of track, you might be writing it with a vocalist, for example, with a certain top line or a certain vocal in mind. So that's why you'd write the whole track around. But with this, I wanted to find a vocal that went quite nicely with it from a sample pack, and I just went from there. That vocal works really well with this track, and I kind of go through about how to warp it and how to make it fit with a certain track. So it was just a couple of loops from a sample pack, and I kind of go through about how to kind of get it in time with your track and make it feel like it's got the same kind of swing and same kind of feel. So using warp markers to just adjust the timing slightly of the vocal, so we kind of it fits in better with the beat. All little bits that are included with the full course. And then also with the vocal, I actually found it on the course when I was actually making this track on the course. I found a bit of that vocal that sounded really kind of good if it was looped. And that's how we kind of created this bridge or build up in the vocal. And then also going throughout, I created this kind of flanger kind of sweep effect, which works really nicely as a transition effect, and also just kind of gives it that disco-y kind of feel. Again, this is all created from scratch using the operator synth, using some white noise and flangering it a bit. And then I also use that white noise a little bit later on to create a white noise riser as well. So with all those elements kind of built, I then go through how to arrange the track, and arranging the track is pretty much, it can differ from track to track depending on what your vocal is and what your idea is. So starting off with a basic kind of intro, so a DJ style intro, about a minute's worth of intro, and then kind of gradually adding the elements in, bringing them back out again, and then finally kind of culminating this big breakdown where everything kind of goes quite deep and soulful, and the vocal comes in, and we have this big kind of build up with a snare build. Then I'm telling you now, you can't have me no more, 'cause I'll be giving you no more second chances. I'll be giving you no more time with my heart. And if ever you think you deserve my loving, so in that breakdown, I kind of work a lot with automation. So actually taking the bass and the piano down quite low with a bit of auto filtering, adding a string in there as well. Again, using one of the standard Ableton string legato kits, just to kind of give that tension and kind of really build the atmosphere within the track. No more second chances. I'll be giving you no more time with my heart. And if ever you think you deserve my loving, then I'm telling you now, you can't have me no more. So we got a couple of filters going on within there. We're kind of taking out the top ends in the kick and in the drums, and also within the piano and the bass and the bit of we're leaving the guitar out so it kind of plucks through quite nicely. But yeah, and then kind of just playing around with the frequency on the auto filter just to kind of bring things back in again but taking that bottom end out so that when everything comes back in again, you get that real punch. And these are all just little tricks that I kind of do in the course, little things that I've learned over time that really kind of work well for these kind of big room house kind of bangers. And that really is just a quick overview of the track that I created during this course. On the course itself, I go through every single element and show you how to make it. So going from a blank canvas, creating the drums, creating the bass, the piano, getting the vocal and finding the vocal and getting that to sit nicely within the track, and then going through the full arrangement and showing you how I would arrange this track. So yeah, if you want to check out this full course, head over to sonicacademy.com, main room house with Dirty Secretz, and you will learn how to create that full track as you just heard just then.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate the support from you guys. If you liked this video, then smash that like button, and if you want to be notified about new content, hit the subscribe and the bell notifications. Peace!